Okay, so let's talk about the coronavirus, COVID-19. I am Dr. Kimberly Adams Tufts, and I'm a registered nurse, certified women's health nurse practitioner, and wellness coach. I'm also a fellow in the American Academy of Nursing, where I'm a member of the expert panel on emerging and infectious diseases. What I'm sharing today is not medical advice, but practical tips for preventing the spread of infectious diseases and building up our own personal health reserves. So for specific advice related to your own health condition, please see your own personal health professional so they can take your own health picture into account. Now, although my focus is generally helping women to navigate the Middle Ages and beyond while maintaining their health and honoring wellness, the coronavirus affects us all. So I thought it was really important to do this video. So today I want to talk about five, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things we can do to decrease our risk of getting coronavirus. So let's start with number 1. We want to wash our hands. What does that mean? It means using soap and water and washing all surfaces, the fronts of our hands, the backs, fingers. If you got a ring, move the ring, wash around it. And I have to say that with washing our hands, friction and time is on our side. So we might want to sing a song. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. Okay, or a half a song. Or say your ABCs. Say our ABCs twice. Remember, with washing our hands, time and friction is on our side. Well, what about hand sanitizers, for example? Well, they can be used when soap and water are not available. But what you want to do is read the label and make sure that there's 60% alcohol in the hand sanitizer. That's real important. So, number 2, let's move on to number 2. We want to limit the touching of our hands to our faces, particularly to our eyes and nose. Now, I'm going to tell you, this can be a real challenge. Science says that we touch our faces an average of 15 times an hour, and we don't even realize it. But because we can spread viruses, bacteria, and other microorganisms to ourselves by touching our eyes, our mucous membranes, or our noses, it's really important that we try to be more aware and limit the touching of our hands to our face. But that's also why it's so important that our hands are clean. So now that moves me on to number 3. Tip number 3. What if we cough? What if we do cough, or if we have a cough? If we cough, and if you cough, it's really important to cough into your elbow. Okay, that looks and sounds really silly to me, but I'm telling you, it's really quite ingenious. You see, you're not going to rub your face with your elbow. So if you cough, it's really important to cough into the elbow because the virus is spread by moist droplets. It's a respiratory virus. And you're not going to be coughing by covering your mouth with your hand. So number 3, if we do cough, cough into the elbow. What's number 4? Now, number 4 is a basic principle for maintaining health, any health, and for building up our own personal reserves. It's called sleep. We want to get enough sleep. Well, what does that mean? Now, I have to stop for a second because although I love Virginia, apparently I'm allergic to Virginia. And these allergies are kicking me. One day we will talk about allergies, or to my Latina sisters, allergias, and a neti pot. So I got off topic. Number 3 or number 4 is getting enough sleep. And what does that mean? It means an average of 8 hours for all adults. Now, you might be a 7-hour person, you may be a 9-hour person. That's why it's an average. But it means we need to make sleep a priority. It means practicing sleep hygiene. Often that means going to sleep at the same time every day and getting up at the same time every day, no matter if it's a work day or if it's a weekend. It also means letting go of our technology about an hour or so before we go to sleep. limiting that blue light. So don't watch this video in the hour before you go to sleep now. Also, put the phone in another room. Science shows that even if the phone is turned off and it's in the same room, it keeps us at a certain level of alertness in our minds. So in the spirit of getting good sleep, limit the use of the phone and any technology, whether it's your computers, tablets, and television before we go to sleep. Read a good book or even the good book. And it makes me think of, feed your mind, the rest will follow. So if you'd like to know more about sleep hygiene, I'm just briefly talking about the tips today. Put some comments in the box below, and I will do a video about sleep hygiene in the future. And I've also will provide a link below for some tips, written tips, and a short video about sleep hygiene. So that was number 4, get enough sleep. Number 5, now this principle is so important for helping us to avoid the spread of the virus, specifically this time coronavirus or any virus, because it builds up our reserves. We want to eat well. I tell you, I'm not going to dwell deep into nutrition in this video, but the overriding principle is about the benefits of that. There's a great benefit to putting more plants in our lives. We want to have more micronutrients that come from vegetables and then fruits. So when I look at my plate, when you look at your plate, we want to see more vegetables. Vegetables first, then fruits, more fruits and vegetables than anything else, and including meat. Now, meat is good. I'm not saying you have to be a vegan or a vegetarian, but meat should be an accent on our plates like it is in many cultures, instead of being the star on the plate as it is in many American households. So to sum up good nutrition for this video, I'm going to quote Michael Pollan, who's a famous food science writer. He says, eat real food, mostly plants, and not too much. So good nutrition builds up our reserves. Because if you think about it, just like our skin, and I was about to touch my face, just like our skin is our first defense against infection, our gut is the root of our immune system. And so in order for it to be healthy, we have to feed it properly. And I tell you, if you're a woman who's transitioning into the perimenopause, or you've transitioned into menopause, or you're in your reproductive years and would like to have a healthy pregnancy, and you want to know about the power of diet in preventing disease and reversing chronic disease, put your comments in the boxes below and I'll make a video discussing food as medicine. So now let's talk about this coronavirus. Let's recap. Tip number 1, we want to wash our hands. Remember, time and friction are our hands. We want to limit touching our faces, particularly the eyes and the nose. That's number 2. Thirdly, we want to cough into our elbow. 4th, sleep well. And number 5, eat even better. And those are things you can do to help decrease your risk against the coronavirus. Now, I have to say, there was some information this morning, and I looked up a couple of things. If you think you're sick and you have mild symptoms, a cold, runny nose, achiness, before going to your physician or your nurse practitioner or physician's assistant, call the office, the clinic, or if you don't have a personal health provider, call the ER before you go in so you can get instructions on what to do next. One of the keys with a community-based infection like coronavirus is we want to limit exposure to those who are potentially sick. So we want to limit our exposure to each other if we are sick. I've put some links down below about the virus from the Centers for Disease Control. So not media talk, but real health information and science. Also about sleeping well, and just an extra bonus about healing your gut. And I think also Michael Pollan's 7 rules for eating well. What can you expect from this channel? Well, it's information about health and wellness that's grounded in science. It's not always going to follow popular thought and trends, but it will be science-based, because at KATwellness, we're about the mind, the body, the spirit, and just doing life. So there will be videos on each of those topics with an overall focus on wellness. As a whole, I'll publish, I'm saying because my thoughts are floating in my head, but as a whole, I'll publish videos in a routine way on Wellness Wednesdays. Needed to do this Monday video because the coronavirus is here. I tell you, please remember to subscribe and hit the notification button below. I need subscribers because once I have 100 subscribers, I hit a certain platform at YouTube, and I'll be much easier to find when you're looking for the information that I can provide. So thanks today, and I have to say, remember, wellness is a journey. Take a step on the path each day. Those aren't my words. I don't know who wrote that quote, but it is a good one. Wellness is a journey. Take a step on the path each day. Have a good day. Pase buen día. Hasta luego, mis hermanas. Bye-bye to everyone.